Well, you guys, it's Veterans Day. We're only 19 days out from Thanksgiving. So I was just at Starbucks yesterday, and they already had the holiday cups out. It was like November 9th. So and also like now they're starting to run the um, Black Friday, Black Sunday, whatever is it, the Black Weekend type sales. And I'm just thinking, well, it's starting to feel a little like Christmas now. These companies, it's not like, it's no getting you in the spirit, hearing that music. And that just reminds me, like back in July of 2008, when that Great Recession hit, I remember nobody had any money. Christmas was dead. And now, like a couple of years later, like where I live at, if you can look, if I could get this to show right, there's like all the fulfillment centers like Amazon, Prologis, all of them all lined up. You know what? All those warehouses replaced the jobs where you have people who worked as mechanics, say at a car dealer, someone who worked as a manager, like at a Macy's or something, making $40,000 or $50,000 an hour. You had people who worked at like a IndyMac, Washington Mutual, like these big banks, and you would make it like 40, 50,000 a year. Now they've been replaced by jobs where you're basically making $15 an hour to start. And I'm paying $1,840 for my place right now. And I remember the last time I had a view like this is when I lived in San Francisco and I was working for a company. I was out in Fisherman's Wharf and I had a beautiful view of a giant pink apartment. Like if you look out my window here, it's just like a giant pink apartment. And then to the left, it was Bay Street, and Bay Street would take you out to Fisherman's Wharf. So, and I think I was paying about probably $2,000 for that place. And then I just moved from my last place, well, like back in August of 2018, I sold my house. I decided I couldn't handle the repairs. Like in my house, you had like these sprinklers because I lived in a 4-bedroom, 2-bath house, an acre and a half of land, and it was such a rural area though. That was when there goes the politicians. You didn't make sure like you had like these sprinklers, so if there's a fire, and the sprinklers would go off. But what they didn't consider was after a while, because of like the heat and the cold, eventually that little PVC plastic starts to get old, and I had leaks, and I spent two times I tried to fix the leaks. Cost me $300 and a day off of work. Another one cost me about $500 and a day off work, and I said that's it. And I sold the house. And then I did like the homeless thing where I was staying on like tried to stay in the rest area. It's like men are just such perverts. It's just sad, man. You have like the most bizarre people there, and like you can't just go to the bathroom. You just want to go to the bathroom, do your business, come out. Oh no, they gotta stay there. They think you wanna all kind of stuff. It's like so that had to come to an end. Then, like, before I got to my apartment where I lived in a townhouse, I was tried the Motel 6 Best Western thing, and then, my people. I was in Best Western, paying about $100. These two big fat black ladies pulled the couches out the house, out the hotel room, and had them sitting out there, and they were sitting, and I was like, God. Why do my people just have to do stuff to just embarrass you? So I had finally said, okay, I think it's time to get a place. I remember probably my most crazy experience is always when I went to Motel 6. One guy tries to sneak a dog into the room and then he gets caught. Then he wants to argue that he got caught. I had 4 or 5 people staying next to me fighting all night. I had people leaving their kids in the room sometimes, and the baby's crying. People just do crazy shit, man. It's mind-boggling, man. And I attribute a lot of this. It's just like to the Great Recession of 2008 when you had entire industries just wiped out. Now, because of Amazon, you have like more like the trucking industry, a lot of logistics, and now because what Amazon is trying to do, they're slowly trying to get away from delivery. Now they have it so you can buy your own route and do this and do that, because they know, hey, they're big enough. Why do you want that liability of dealing with the fluctuating fuel prices, dealing with having to maintain your own trucking fleet? Why don't you just pass that headache on to someone else and just charge them? And if they don't do it right, get rid of them. So watch. Within the next year, Amazon's gonna. You won't see all those Amazon Prime trucks will be similar to the FedEx Ground. It used to be like Old Dominion or some company. Yellowstone used to be like a company, but they actually got bought, and now they're actually FedEx Ground, which are like a totally different subsidiary from FedEx. And I'm just thinking about that as we head toward the holiday season. You'll start hearing all this stuff. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. I can remember back in July 2008, the only Christmas people got were coals in their stockings. You found out you got laid off or your company was moving away to another state. Say, even last year, my friend Karen worked for Carl's Jr. and her company moved from California to Tennessee, and they gave people the option, hey, either move to Tennessee or lose your job. Having another lady I met, like in Torrance, California, we used to have a giant Toyota place. And Toyota eventually moved all their operations to Texas, and I got some updates on it, and they told me they built like a giant tower because they don't have to pay any taxes. And it's just like now California's also passed rent control, so what that's basically going to mean, back in basically like another year or so, you're going to have a whole bunch of, another wave of homeless people, because these people who own these apartments and stuff are going to like, okay, we'll play the game. We'll just keep our rents for that set point of time. Eventually, if you keep having people who are only making $15 an hour, I'll get them out of the place sooner or later. And then after they get out, I'm just going to jack up the rent. And what you're going to see is eventually, you're going to see a slow increase in the rents. Watch. And when that happens, these people, you're paying they can't even afford this place right now. $15 an hour, $2,400 after taxes, about $1,900. They pay for this place. They ain't gonna eat. Got no money to pay for their cars. So that's why most of them, a lot of these people are living at home, shacking up with people, and maybe living 2 or 3 roommates to a place. And I don't want that to be you. The only way that's not gonna be you is like you're gonna have to like outwork everyone. And I mean 40 to 60 hours of outwork. And that's one thing I want you to work on. 2 things I told you I always wanted you to do. One, if you're living at home or you're living with roommates, you're working at one of these fulfillment centers, remember what I told you. Calvin and I worked at Petavita Mold and Die, which was like, well, it'd be like a quarter the size of that little place right there. If you see it, it's big. But him and I produced 10,000 sonic alarms like within a 2 or 3 week period. We soldered the devices, put them together, tested them, put them in the boxes, shipped them to the clients. I was in the front office and I collected payments. It was like the first generation of alarms. So what I'm trying to tell you is like if you're working in like one of these places where they make you wear goggles, vest, and like have a line like you're a rat to tell you where to go, Calvin and I didn't have any of that stupid stuff. I'm like, look at that, having goggles. We wish we had goggles. Calvin only used goggles when he ran something called a lathe, which is like a machine where you had a giant drill where you would pull it down and you would drill into things. That's the only time I saw Calvin wearing it. And sometimes when we ran like the CNC machine, which is a machine that made models, and sometimes when I did some soldering or electrical work where there could possibly be sparks. But other than that, 80% of the time, or 75% of the time, 73% of the time, Calvin and I did not have glasses. So I just look at these places, and we ran that whole entire warehouse. And he ran the forklift, I ran the hand lift. So I look at all these places, they're at least overstaffed by 30 to 40%. I mean, I just see like, you're gonna see like a mass of white. Probably about then 2020, before mid-2020 and 2020, they're gonna just like do like a massive cut. Because you don't really need all those people. I mean, to do what? To put stuff in boxes to ship out? That's all coming to an end. So now this is the time while you're working. If you're living with your parents, that's why I keep telling you, hey, see if you can put away $200, $300, $400 a month. Pay your parents some money. Put some money away from yourself. So like 3 to 4 months, hey, you saved up $2,000. Plus you have another $1,000 in saving to help you out. Go get your own place, man. You don't want to live at home. If you're living at home, if you're an adult after, you're a loser. You're not going to have any type of people skills. You're just a loser. I don't know what to say. What's another word? You're not going to learn how to deal with people. You're going to assume everyone's going to take care of you. And you're basically a leech. You're going to be waiting, hanging out in your place, hoping your parents die, thinking you're going to keep it, and your parents are going to be delusional. They don't want to sell their house. I want to leave it to my baby. You live in a hood. You live in a ghetto. People kill people on the street all the time. What are you leaving your kid? But now if you live by yourself, you're going to learn how to pay your rent, deal with bill collectors, deal with the people around you, decide, hey, I want to move from this house to an apartment, to another apartment, or move from an apartment to a house. Even if the house is a bad idea, in my opinion, I've learned that from Grant Cardone, and I've owned 3 houses, and after a while, that's all going to come to an end. That's a story for another time. But as we head toward this time of Christmas, don't let them suck you into thinking you have to buy things, thinking you have to go on trips, thinking you have to stay with people you don't like, thinking you have to go deal with relatives you hate. No. Usually I would be with my grandmother, mom, or my brother, but my brother's not coming down. My 2 parents have passed away, and I really don't feel like hanging out with people having a Friendsgiving. What is a Friendsgiving? Give me a beer, get drunk. You'll be depressed for like 2 or 3 hours. You'll be out back online the next day. So when it comes to, what I'm trying to do is prepare you for this holiday trickery. Because you know what you know what the holidays are now? It's a time for all the companies to make up all the money they should have been made by having proper sales skills. So I want you to save money, work on your sales skills, and just don't get sucked into this holiday vortex. Protect your money, because that's all we are, unfortunately. All it is about money now. That's why I tell you, money first, love second. Like I told you, 10% of people in a family, like if they have 5 kids, one of those 5 kids is from another guy. You know why? Because the other guy hasn't been delivering the goods. So her wife, like, you get pissed off. You have to go get some sugar somewhere else. She gets pregnant. Say, he won't know. He's so stupid. Just say it's his. He's like, okay, it's mine. But I don't want that to be you, man. So what I'm trying to just tell you is the holidays are coming. People are looking for your money. So if you're going to spend something, make sure you spend something that helps you grow. Just don't spend it on junk that you can buy any time of the year. And just don't get sucked in thinking you have to go visit people you don't like. Even if you love them, call them on the phone. Hey, don't go into debt to visit people. Don't go into debt buying stuff. And just do not think, hey, you're going to keep my boyfriend or girlfriend or wife till next year. Just get rid of them. The sooner you do it, the better.